Welcome. This is why I finally pressed record. You are here with me today at Limitless Living. This is our new podcast, and it's for women over 40 who just want to reset their health and regulate their nervous system and rise without the burnout. Welcome and I've been thinking about starting this for so long. This podcast has been in my head and in my heart, and planning it, mapping it, renaming it, reworking the artwork all the time in my head, and re-recording the intro before it even existed over and over and over. And if I'm honest, a lot of it was all about the perfection. So wanting it to be just right, wanting the message to be crystal clear for you and perfectly aligned. But at some point, I just realized that all of that need for perfection was making me not actually launch this podcast. So I don't want to live like that anymore. I don't want you to live like that anymore. I don't want you to get stuck in the perfection of things. So here we are. Welcome to Limitless Living. This isn't about becoming somebody new. It's about removing what has been limiting you all along. And this space is mostly for women. I know I have a few extra special men who are going to be listening to this too, but it's mostly for women who are feeling like something has shifted in their body, in their energy, in their confidence, even in their capacity for life, for joy, to do things. Women who are actually tired. I mean, are you tired of all the quick fixes out there, all the new trends, one after another every day? Then this is for you. This is not surface level. All those quick fixes wind up being surface level and motivation. If you are over 40 and you would love to reset your health or regulate your nervous system or rise without the burnout that comes with that, then you are in the right place. Welcome to the Limitless Living podcast. I have literally been thinking about doing this for so very long, a few years. And I've been this close to launching multiple times and just gotten so stuck in the planning of it and the mapping it and the renaming of it and the reworking the artwork of it and all the how-tos and the tech and the re-recording the intro before it even existed and so on. You get the picture. And if I'm being honest, I just wanted it to be right. I just wanted it to be perfect for everyone, for you listening to this. And I want the message to be really clear as I share this, that in getting stuck with trying to make it perfect, I wasn't getting it out there at all. And I wanted the timing to feel just perfect, aligned, and all of a sudden it just kind of hit me that, really there's no time like the present. If I keep waiting for this to be perfect, this would never exist. So here we are. I thought, you know what? Just to show you that you can come as you are and move the needle forward, here I am in my sweatshirt, all natural, with just me. And I want to give you all of my years, 40 years of experience in the wellness industry, the motivational industry, working with women. I'm just here to help you move the needle so that you in your life can experience the reset. You can experience the rise without burning the house down, without the burnout that can come with that. So, this is not about becoming new you. You are beautiful, wonderful the way you are. I'm going to say that. It's really about removing what's been limiting you. This whole podcast, the space is for women, mostly women over 40, who might feel like something has shifted. Do you feel like something has maybe shifted in your body or maybe in your energy or your confidence? Maybe something feels like it's shifted in your capacity, the capacity to do or to hold space for things. Something doesn't quite feel like it did, or maybe you've been striving for something and you have not gotten there. So this is for women who, were tired. Maybe you're tired of all the quick fixes, all the trends, all the surface level motivation. This is for you. Being told that you just need to try harder is not the answer. In fact, sometimes it's the biggest part of the problem. If you're feeling like you're doing everything right, but something still isn't right in you, or you're not being able to move the needle, even though you're doing so many other things that are right, quote unquote. This podcast isn't going to be about hacks. It's about systems. It's about your nervous system, your, inflammatory responses. It's about hormones and mindset and purpose in life and capacity. I want it to be about success and spiritual grounding. You know, our energy is sacred, and when we practice and we hold it dear, and we practice, um, reasonable, practical, sustainable strategies and spiritual grounding and all these other things I mentioned, not all at once either, not all at once. There's no overwhelm here. This is not about overwhelm. But when we practice these things layered, that's when the magic starts to happen. So because your life is not just one category or one part. Neither is mine. What I have found in all my years of experience as the owner of a wellness center, working with hundreds, thousands really of clients and women especially who have battled many different things, what I have noticed is a common thread is that we are all often treated, whether it's a doctor or whether it's a program that's out there, you're treated with one thing, one area of yourself, one niched in something, one specialized something. And really, we are the sum of all parts. We are a whole. And when we start to connect those together, that's where we really move the needle. But we need to do it without overwhelm. So I've lived through, I can tell you, massive autoimmune challenges my entire life. Financial stress, business growth, identity shifts over the years. I've been the woman who pushes through. I know what that's like. So if that's who you are, I know what that's like firsthand. I also know what it's like to figure out how not to do that. I've been the woman who collapses as a result of all of this. I can tell you, I know what that feels like firsthand. I've also been the woman who knows how to rebuild and rebuild well, rebuild stronger. So I don't come at this from only an educated coach, strategist, business owner point of view or woman over 40 point of view. I come at this as somebody who has actually lived it. And what I've learned is that you don't need another push. You don't need a another strategy that adds something to your to-do list or makes your plate any fuller than it already is. But what you do need is a reset. You need a reset that's not the kind where you burn the whole house down and your whole life at one shot either. You need something where you are more you're really more recalibrating your life. And we're going to talk about things like that, things that really, really matter, things that move the needle again without overwhelm, without burning the house down in order to do so. This is why quick fixes keep failing. They're either too point specific and they don't look at the whole picture, or they're too overhaulish. So, it's hard to sustain that and it becomes overwhelming. So what's really happening with a lot of this, and whether you're somebody who's burnt out from work or you are just carrying too much in your life, or you're trying to be healthier, your mindset is just not quite what you want it to be, or your finances aren't what you want it to be, or maybe what's happening with you because we're in this GLP-1 culture and weight loss culture, whatever it is for you that's feeling off or that you're working for, discipline is where we often think is the first place to start. And discipline is not usually the problem. I'm going to say that again. For most of us, especially women over 40, discipline is really not usually the problem. It's really capacity that matters more than your motivation. And, how do we create success without destroying your health in the process? That's the other piece, that push mentality that we have, especially here in the US. That push through mentality. Yeah, there's a time and a place for it. But when we are in that all the time, it's actually counterproductive. So, what's the point of building an incredibly beautiful life if your body can't carry it? If your heart can't carry it, if your soul can't carry it, your mind starts to break down. So, before we close today, I want to leave you with something. You'll learn a little bit about me more as we go and my backstory and all of the different things throughout. But I want to really leave you with something that is practical that you can implement today. I want you to ask yourself, where in your life are you circling around but not landing? What is it that you've got going on that you want to finish or you want to start, but you keep waiting for perfect conditions? Just like I told you, I've been wanting to do this for so long, but I kept waiting for perfect conditions. And truth be told, I could have started any time, and that's one of the reasons I purposely came on here on camera, au natural, a little bit of lip and mascara, but like, I want you to see the real me. You don't have to wait for things to be perfect, airbrushed, and whatever. So, where in your life are you waiting for those perfect conditions? Is it maybe exercise? Maybe you've told yourself, okay, I'll start when the weather clears. I'll start when I have 3 full gym days to go do this for 30 minutes or an hour each day and, can do the perfect routine. What if starting now meant just walking outside or going into the kitchen and doing what I call kitchen counter squats or calf raises in the kitchen. I exercise a lot in the kitchen. You guys will hear about that as we go through. But maybe it's nutrition. Maybe you've convinced yourself that you need a full meal plan and a whole diet overhaul and everything, all so that you can start out with a perfect Monday, and that's when you'll start. What if starting just meant that you removed one inflammatory food today and this week, made a commitment to that for the week? One inflammatory food. Or maybe starting just meant that you got enough water each day. What if that was actually where you start? Simple, right? What's another one would be, what's a boundary? What boundaries have you wanted to set and not set? And just pick one. One boundary that maybe you have not set. Maybe it's a decision that you keep overthinking, or where you might feel stuck because you've decided it has to be done perfectly, just like me with the podcast. What would it look like if you begin imperfectly instead? Seriously, what would happen if you did it imperfectly? You did it really great or pretty darn good, but you did it versus not doing it at all because you're stuck in the perfectionism. And not by approaching things in this giant life overhaul or this giant project. A little bit of momentum really has a way of building your or one small action. Let me back up. One small action has a way of creating momentum. And momentum is what builds capacity within you. And we're going to talk more about capacity and what that really means to you having the kind of life and the kind of body and health and vibrancy that you really want. If this feels like your kind of space, subscribe, because this is just the beginning. We're going to talk about your body. We're going to talk about your nervous system, about mindset, of course. That often is where things begin. And your expansion. Isn't that what we want? We want expansion in our lives, whether it's health or business or relationships. And I want to talk about how to build a life that actually feels sustainable. The life you want, but it's one that you can sustain, not just build, but actually live in and maintain. I mean, that's where the magic happens, right? So if you want deeper conversations and you want to go into this and join with other like-minded women, I do also have a free limitless living community that you can join. I'll put the link in the show notes. But let's continue this work beyond the mic. Go ahead and listen for now to this episode and any other episodes you that might be there that you haven't yet explored. I'm just glad you pressed play. I'm glad you were here to join me. I want you to get value out of this, and I want to hear what you think. Need me to cover something? Just ask. I'll be happy to. See you in the next episode.